Welcome back everyone to this week's episode of Gamers Weekend. Here we are back again, and I did not move the mic enough, but this is gonna be okay. So, this week and weeks actually, we have some interesting news to talk about, because really this video was supposed to be about sports games, which I had a whole video up on. I wrote some of it, I filmed some of it, but I had to change it because a lot happened this week. So these few weeks have been crazy because a lot is happening, and I'm saying is happening because I don't think it's the end of it yet. So for those that know, Kendrick and Drake are absolutely going at it in one of the most interesting disses ever. They have like 4 disses each. Probably some of you are not interested in that. I followed all the rap battle between these two, and it is absolutely insane. And the quality of the songs was actually pretty good. At least some of them, especially on Kendrick's side. I'm not, too sure about Drake's. Anyway, that doesn't matter. That's not what we're here to talk about. But what I wanted to say is a lot has happened, and gaming was actually not, safe from this news because a lot happened in the gaming world as well, and unfortunately not a lot of good things necessarily. And it's actually a pretty bad time for gaming in general. So there are very few games that actually came out. Some really big games underperformed, and some companies made some really bad choices and announcements, and we're going to talk about one of these right in this video. So let's actually get into it. But before we do that, please leave a like on the video and subscribe for more such content and for more tutorials on Blender if you're interested. If not, this kind of thing is gonna start showing more and more because I love doing these kind of talks. I want to talk about like a few things before I actually get into the main subject that you probably kind of got from the title. I did say that some big games underperformed, and mostly it's one big game that I honestly kind of even forgot had to come out, and that is Final Fantasy VII's Rebirth. So shockingly, Final Fantasy VII, the remake, was an absolutely banger. It was an amazing game, and honestly I think this one is also a really good game. But the problem is it's not really, not a lot of people had known about it for some reason, which is pretty crazy because for some time a lot of people were only talking about Final Fantasy, and then it was gone, and right before actually the game coming out, marketing was not that heavy, which is very weird. So yes, it's just a very small news, but still a pretty sad news. The fact that, Final Fantasy Rebirth, which I was really excited for, is actually underperforming because a lot of people are not talking about it, and it's not that big. And yes, Square Enix is known for actually having expectations that are way off their fucking ground. However, this time it's not that deal, alright? This time they're actually kind of aware of what's going on, and it's not good. And that's pretty scary since it's actually a good game, single player, and really high quality. The reason it's bad, it's because that kind of tells companies maybe single players are dying, which is not true, but for some reason they don't give that much of a shit about it, apparently, and they will take any excuse to get away from those because they have other more important stuff that can make more money, and it's easier to do in other places, such as live service or mobile, if you know what I mean. But again, that is not exactly what I wanted to talk about. This is just kind of the tip of the iceberg, so to speak, because lately, companies have made horrible choices after horrible choices and after other horrible choices, such as let's increase salaries for CEOs and actually let's fire developers, because AI is here, so most probably a lot of them are gonna go that direction, which is so stupid. And layoffs recently have been everywhere. Sony had a lot of them, Microsoft had a lot of them as well. EA made a very interesting announcement, an announcement I'm gonna cover in probably another video, not this one. But this video is concentrating on Sony, and that is because Sony is, just like the title suggested, really becoming evil and has to be stopped, because it's literally insane what they can do, how much they can fuck this up. So for context, first of all, you should know that I am actually a pretty, not necessarily a big fan, but I was a more or less supporter of Sony, because I always thought that PlayStation and PlayStation games were really good, and the quality of the AAA games Sony was delivering was, well, really the highest. However, I always had a pretty bitter taste when it came to Sony. The reason being, Sony is mainly the reason exclusive games are existing. Crossover, like cross platforms, really are a thing that always happened between Xbox and PC. And from what I learned, is Xbox kind of always wanted to make cross-platform with Sony a thing. However, Sony didn't want it. Which I think is a stupid idea, even from like a business standpoint, because literally their games are the coolest games on the market. Everyone wants to play God of War, everyone wants to play Spider-Man. And I think in their arrogance, they are so thriving on the fact that they think because of that everyone has to buy a PlayStation, that they will never actually make their games non-exclusive, which is so dumb, because with the exclusivity gone, their sales are probably gonna jump through the roof. Because if you've seen even the ports on PC that Sony does make from time to time, which usually, by the way, is really shit, especially in in the beginning of the passing from PlayStation to PC, right? Their ports are usually very bad in the first stage. Anyway, afterwards it becomes pretty good, but everyone kind of buys it because of two reasons. First, everyone wants to play those games, and everyone that has like an Xbox wanna see how God of War actually feels. And second, because a lot of people actually wanna see how good graphically those games are on an actual PC, because for those that don't know, PCs are way stronger than consoles. So with this actually out of the way, and this kind of selling, I am a fan of PlayStation, and I think Sony, is actually a good company when it comes to which titles it chooses. But also I do have a lot of skepticism, because I know Sony is also a pretty bad company when it comes to fair game. And this goes to show how bad Sony is actually at this whole thing, because if some of you might know already, because it was a pretty big scandal, and the reason I'm talking about it, it's because Sony is doing something that, if not stopped, it will have probably a lot of repercussions, in the future, because companies love to literally take the worst examples. That's the one they're actually looking at. Everything that's good, fuck that shit, we're not looking at that, because we have everything bad right there. And with that being said, Sony has a pretty little game called Helldivers.
Federation of Super Earth, keeping managed democracy safe with the lives of our heroes, protecting freedom from tyranny with the gentle touch of an iron fist. But liberty's enemies march ever closer. Together, we must take back control of freedom.
Together for liberty! Together for liberty.
Together, they fight for freedom.
I did talk about Helldivers a few times because it's made by a smaller company, and I love to support such companies. It's one of the biggest games of this year. It took everyone by storm. It was this and Pale. What was it? Helldivers? Pale something? I can't remember the other name, but they were the biggest two games on Steam. And right now, currently speaking, Helldivers 2 has, right now as I'm recording, in the game 93,796 players. And roughly in a 24-hour peak, it's 125,000 people playing the game, which is actually super good. In comparison to that, for example, Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League has around like 300 people. So just for you to actually understand how big Helldivers 2 is, it's that big. And yeah, it's one of the best games of this year. It had mostly positive reviews, like everyone loved this game. And I played it myself, absolutely a banger. You will have a great time playing it with your friends. And then Sony showed up and he was like, oh, this game is really good and you like it, right? Okay. After a few months, they actually asked people to get a PSN account. Now, for those that don't know what a PSN account is, which I'm pretty sure you do kind of know, but I'm gonna explain roughly. Almost every platform nowadays, because these shady companies have to kind of stop you in some way and kind of get your information somehow, they will make you have an account on their platform, right? But because Helldivers was Steam's thing, you didn't need to have that until Sony said, no, you need to have it if you want to play it. And the biggest problem out of all this, and by the way, people were infuriated with this because it's not like if you don't have that, you don't get news about a game. You couldn't play the game at all. If you did not have the PSN account connected, you literally couldn't play the game on Steam, which is absolutely disastrous. It's such a bad idea. And to understand how bad this decision was, 17 countries did not have access to PSN accounts. So people that actually bought Helldivers 2 in 17 countries couldn't play the game even if they wanted to make a PSN account, because they couldn't. Their country literally couldn't do that. And actually there were some stories about people that were trying to have VPNs to create a PSN account, and once they were caught, they were actually banned afterwards and couldn't play the game again, which is absolutely retarded. Literally, Sony took the people away from the game, which of course infuriated almost everyone, and rightfully so. I mean, for real, you're literally taking one of your most popular games to this day and putting it into the ground for some reason. This is why I'm saying these people are so stupid that they cannot see anything besides numbers and money. They can only look at that, but not the bigger picture. And of course, a lot of people hated that. And one of the people that hated that was a developer from Arrowhead Game Studios. So a developer from Arrowhead Game Studios actually encouraged people on Twitter, encouraged them to bum review the game. Bum review meant to just leave a lot of bad comments about the game, reviews actually. So Sony can actually look at that and it will, draw their notice and then draw their attention, and basically it will make them at least retract that decision, which actually happened. That helped, and the decision was taken back. Sony said it's sorry, and for some reason they said something in the likes of, we're still trying to figure out how this PC port works. Like, you figured that shit out a few years ago and you clearly are doing it pretty well now. You're now fucking up something else. This is totally about everything else. You're just shitty. And yeah, probably a lot of you might know that after this, mostly positive reviews were back on track for Helldivers 2 because people still love the game and was really played. And this was supposed to be the end of it, right? I mean, in a perfect world, well, this wouldn't have happened, but in a less than perfect world, this would have been the end of the story, happy ending for everyone, people could play the game, and that would have been it. However, Sony is shitty. How about that? Who would have heard that a corporation doesn't care about its employees, and it's such a shitty company. Such a shitty, yeah, did I really say that? Why are you looking at me exactly? Well, probably you're not, so yeah. Anyway, what I mean by this, right? Why is Sony bad and what happened? Well, these days, actually I think yesterday, news, which it's allegedly said because it's not a confirmation yet, but apparently the developer that actually encouraged people to review bomb the game was fired from Sony and from Arrowhead, of course. So a lot of people did notice that on the Helldivers 2 Discord channel, his account was deleted. And also, he posted something of the sorts of, well, I'm gonna put the tweet here just for you to know, but it was something like, it's a sad day, or something like that. Which, of course, made a lot of speculations about Sony actually firing him for what he did, because he was basically the reason people realized, let's review bomb the game until we're actually getting what we want, which is what probably would have happened anyway. I don't know why Sony is so dumb. Personally, I believe Sony did fire him, and now a lot of people are pissed, of course, again on Sony, and of course the bad reviews are coming back, and now actually on Steam the game has mixed reviews, which it's a very big shame because the game is amazing. The developers, oh, I think you are hearing, yeah. The game is really good, and really the people are so passionate. It's so obvious they actually love what they're doing. It's just a big thing. And personally, I'm tired of companies like this. I'm tired of companies fucking up every single thing they're touching just because they're not aware of what's actually going on in, you know, the actual communities. But they're trying to make these PR talks like, no, we do care, trust us. It was just a little mistake. Yes, we pressed the wrong button. We didn't know what we were doing. They're shittier than a jellyfish's asshole, if jellyfishes have asshole and are shitty. I don't know why I said that, but the idea is that this really pissed me off a lot as well, because really I love this game and I love to see that such a small company can make such a big impact. And to see a developer that was really out there all the time and, you know, actually try to help the community, be taken down by the company that was basically enjoying the most of this whole partnership. It's just so bad, and I think it shouldn't really go on. And this was a point that I was trying to make. The fact that if this goes on and other companies are trying to do stuff like this is not gonna go good. This is setting a really bad example that probably others will try to copy, and this will create really big problems, you know, along the way in the future. Which I really hope it's not the case, but yeah, knowing corporations and what's going on, I don't really know what to say. So I actually went to the editing part of this video when I actually did find out that apparently Sony did something even scummier than, well, everything else so far, right? So yes, there's the big scandal with, you know, apparently it's not a developer, so I'm sorry for that. It was the community manager that's the one that actually was fired because, you know, helping people figure out how to basically bring back, you know, the game without the PSN account. Well, apparently even with all these problems taken away and, you know, PSN accounts not being needed anymore for you to be able to play the game, apparently Sony still blocked the game in 177 countries. So yes, it's not 17 countries, apparently it's 177. And not only that, but even without the PSN account, they still couldn't. From what I understand, it's an agreement between Sony and Valve. For those that don't know, Valve is what Steam is, basically. It's the company that manages Steam. And literally, they could not actually follow an agreement. And the game is still locked for a lot of people. Hence why the reviews are still actually coming bad. Because yes, a lot of people hoped, yeah, we're finally done with this, and, you know, the better reviews started to show up until someone pointed out that the PSN is out, but people are still not able to play the game. And yeah, I just wanted to bring this in. It's not, you know, the biggest thing, Well, it is a really big thing because, again, it kind of ties into everything I said. Corporations are shit. They only look at numbers, and literally the only ones that are suffering are, well, the people that actually should be enjoying the programs and the products. And really, it sucks because even in this case, when people actually did something about it and it seemed as if they did got a solution, basically nothing happened. Actually, it almost feels, because what do you do now? The only thing you can really do is, again, review bomb it. But really, I don't even know if this is a thing, because really it's not even Sony's thing anymore. It's like, actually it is Sony's thing, because they're the ones to blame in the first place, but it's like the agreement between them and Valve for some reason, I think. So yeah, really messed up situation. I just wanted to bring this in, and now we should go back to the rest of the video. Okay guys, so in this week's indie shoutout, yeah, let's actually call it that. In this week's section, we're actually going to talk about a game that's actually a little older. It's actually from 2022, but it had its platforms, so the console port was released this year. And we're talking about King Arthur's Knight's Tale. If you did not hear of it, I probably have the trailer already playing here and some gameplay, hopefully for you. It's a really interesting game. It's a turn-based strategy game. So I do recommend you honestly playing it on your PC for a couple of reasons. The reason I love this so much, and by the way, let me just shout out the actual developers first of all. Developer being Neocore Games. I think I did hear of them. They made more games such as this. The Incredible Adventures of Van Helsing. That's why I heard of them. Yeah. Yeah, they actually made this game, and I think they also made the King Arthur 2, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. I know they have a few games, but the point of this really is, oh, they're making Warhammer as well. I'm sorry, I'm not going to ever actually finish the sentence, will I? So yeah, these guys are actually making really good games, mostly concentrated on strategy games, but I absolutely do believe that they're making great gaming experiences, and the game actually has a pretty cool story. It's like a dark fantasy about King Arthur, and the whole story with the knights and all that, which I think it's such a cool concept, first of all. And what I love about it, it's one of those kind of old strategy games from PC, which is I think it reminds me the most of like Age of Empires, or if you play Lord of the Rings Middle-earth, such a good strategy game. At least for when I was a child, I really loved that one. By the time when EA was actually still making good games, how about that? And actually, oh sorry, I think I dropped something. Actually, this game is, as I said, on sales. Right now it's 18 euros on Steam. I don't think it's that much for such a good game. The game is actually multiplayer, so you can enjoy it with your friends as well. And really it has this cinematic story that I think everyone loves. The reason for it is because, again, going back to my nostalgia, it's just that vibe of playing a strategy game and have these cool, cutscenes that are so well made. I really love that always in games in general, honestly. And I'm pretty sad that they don't have that anymore, but these games still do, and I still enjoy seeing that. So if you want, please, again, shout out to Neocore Games, and please try to give a chance to King Arthur the Knight's Tale. And with that actually being said, I really hope you're going to have a great weekend. Hope to see you tomorrow to actually grab both the texture and also say hi for my first actual gameplay video on this channel. So with all this being said, I don't know what I'm saying on this channel. I have only one channel. Anyway, with all this being said, now you can actually search. Maybe I have 2 channels and I'm lying. Who knows? With all this being said, please take care of you. Have a great weekend, and till next time, bye guys. I swear, sometimes I don't think I know what the hell I'm saying. Welcome everyone to a new episode. Welcome back everyone to this week's. What the hell is wrong with me? Why is it so hard to actually put this mic right? What the fuck? Did I swear?